Well, we want to record your introduction.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Linda, and I am an account executive for Chicago Title here in Santa Clara County. And I have with me today is Melissa McRoberts, who is one of our escrow officers. Melissa's been in the business for over 20 years with lots and lots of experiences in the business in title and escrow. For myself, I've been in real estate in general for too long, 25 plus years. I say 30 plus years. And I have done lending, appraisal, and title and escrow combined. So today, first of all, thank you so much for attending this seminar, this training. And Chicago Title in general is happy to present this training today. So we're going to talk about InHere. Why InHere? What is InHere? I think it's a great name, it's a catchy name, and it has a lot of meaning to it. And we're going to go talk about it. So as you know, this is the findings from FBI. For the last, so many years, there has always been a lot of scams going on targeting title company in general. There has been many scams reported in 50 states and 150 countries, and it's on the rise. The scammers are very creative, sophisticated, and they know that there's a lot of money exchange in title and escrows, so that's where they're targeting. As you can see, the findings is over $1.8 billion in losses over the years, and we, as a company, title company and escrow, we wanted to make sure that we protect our clients who we're working with, and yourself as realtors and agents that are involved in the transactions. That's our job, is to make sure, our escrow officers is to make sure that we protect your biggest investment and your lifelong savings when you purchase a property. So in here, there's the life cycle of wire fraud. The criminals begin, they get into the emails, the personal emails, and it starts from the beginning. There's a lot of, they're tracking the activities between the buyer, the seller, the agents, before the fraud occurred, right? The fraudsters are sending emails that look very much like one of our emails. They're targeting all of participants, real estate transactions, like, of course, buyers and sellers, and the real estate agents. So this is one of the phishing emails that you can, as you can see, it has the name, but once you click on it, it's not the domain that title or realtors are using. Here is another example of the spoofed emails. As you can see, so say for instance, Melissa McRoberts, and it will show Melissa McRoberts. Instead of at ctt.com, you will say ct.com, or we'll say ct-t info. But when you're in a hurry, you deal with a lot of paperwork, you can miss this because you saw everybody else's names that involved in a transaction showing up here, so you thought it's legit, right? So it's easy to mistake the fraudster and then reply to the email, and that's where they capture all of your contact private information. So with that being said, Chicago Title came up with a very secured portal. It's called InHere. And what it does is it tracks more and more of your transactions, and everything in the system is secured. And we need to get the buyer's email and phone number so that way our escrow officer can make that phone call to make sure, to double check, to make sure is the right person we're talking to. With that being said, I know that Melissa had come across one of her transactions that it actually happened, and I would like for her to share that information with you all.
Hi, everybody. So yeah, I had a transaction. It was a sale. Woman was buying her house. Her dad was going to help her with the down payment. We had talked about it. Wanted a contract. I called her. I introduced myself to her. I explained wire fraud. I said, you know, that now that you and I have connected, you know my voice, you know my phone number. And so she got her EMD in successfully. We verified, you know, took all the appropriate steps. Throughout the transaction, you know, I think what happened is the fraudster was watching and may have even sent some emails to interject with a fraudulent email. Again, it was exactly like it was supposed to be. It was my name, but it said hyphen, like C-TT. So one day my buyer gets an email from me, which had my signature block. Everything looked exactly the same unless you really carefully looked at my email. But it said, hey, we're having a sale on title and escrow. And if you wire in your final balance to close now, you'll get a discount on your title insurance. And so she didn't think anything of it. She forwarded it to her father, who was going to be supplying the final amount due. And he actually did she said, make sure you call Melissa to verify the wire instructions. So he called the phone number at the bottom of the email. They said, oh, yes, this is correct. This is correct. Of course, he and I had never spoken, so he didn't know the tone of my voice. He didn't know what I sounded like. Thankfully, he went ahead and processed the wire. Thankfully, his bank had verified the wire instructions he was wiring to versus Chicago Title's other wire instructions that they had in their system. And they called me to verify the wire instructions. And I said, no, that is not our wire instructions. Do not send that wire. And we were able to avert it. But the key here was that the fraudsters got into the email system with these fictitious emails. And so that when you reply all, it automatically populates them and not the person that you are intending to actually email. So that's where they're really tricky with that. And you really have to, we all get in a habit, we get into a group email and we reply all without really looking at who it is that we're emailing.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why working with someone that's with many years of experience can catch this kind of stuff and be able to save your clients. So can you imagine if the bank didn't call Melissa and the buyer wired the money, it will be gone in seconds, right? So do your due diligence always, always, always to remind your buyer or seller is before wire any money at all is to pick up the phone and call the escrow officer to verify and let her know or he knows that you are wiring money today, so that way he or she can be on the lookout for it. Okay. You know, right now the market is low, right? It's challenging. And every transaction counts, and the fraudsters always look out for ways to scam you. So always be on alert for that. Another transaction that we had at another branch is not about wire fraud, but it's about the transaction itself. So the transaction was the seller. We had an open escrow. So the listing agent opened the escrow with the DocuSign contract, right? Come to find out, the realtor actually do her due diligence to make sure that the seller is actually selling the property, because everything is done through email and DocuSign. So she actually took a further step and went to the house and wanted to meet the seller herself. This is a listing agent. And she was not able to. So she went to the neighbors of the property and talking to the neighbor and said that is very important. And she's, let the neighbor know that she is the listing agent. She's a realtor and she wants to reach out to, and the reason why she's doing it. And long story short, she was able to get a hold of the seller and come to find out the seller was not selling the property. So it was a fraudster pretending to be the seller. So it's a good reminder to you guys out there as a realtors is to, when you get a transaction similar to this, is to do your due diligence, to make sure you do your own research, to make sure that you're representing the right seller who's wanted to sell the property. Okay? So moving forward, what's in here? And that is so important that we encourage all the realtors to start using this platform because it's to protect you and your buyers and your seller, right? So we rolled out recently, the app is called InHere. And when the transaction is open with us, when you provide us the seller's email and phone number, and when the property is in contract, you provide us the buyer's email and phone number, and we will reach out to you via this portal, right? So you be able to check the milestone from the beginning of the transaction. We will provide you wire instruction through here, so it's secure. You have nothing to worry about. You can track it. You get, push notification if there's the progress of the transaction. The prelim is ready for you to review. Deposit has been deposited into the account, and so on. Okay. Do you have anything to add, Melissa?
So for realtors, when we open up an order or a listing, or if it's out of the area and it's a contract, once we open up the order and we input your information, you're going to get an email that's going to invite you to InHere. And from there, that's where you'll start your login. But it's a really great app, not only for you, but it's an app in process. So, they're trying to get us as escrow, because when Lynn mentioned milestones, those milestones have to be added, or I have to, as I'm working in my production system, I'm going to go, okay, buyer's docs are here. So I'm going to click the button that buyer's docs received, which is going to send you that push notification that says, oh, hey, by the way, on your property on Smith Drive, buyer's docs just arrived. So this is a working app, and we really need to get not only escrow, but the realtors involved, because as we expand and our buyers and our sellers are using this app, we're all going to have access through this app to the documents and wire instructions and the prelims and the estimated statements. Of course, sellers aren't going to be able to pull buyers' information. Buyers aren't going to be able to pull sellers' information, but they'll be able to pull information that is for them. And, you get that call from your client, oh, I wanted to see the prelim, and it's 11 o'clock at night, and you're going through your emails. You can just log into your app and send it to them. It's going to be really great.
In addition, for instance, if you need to look up something and check on status at 11 p.m. at night, you can do that when you cannot get a hold of the escrow officer at 11 p.m. at night, right? Also, if you're on vacation, you can always access the app and be able to see what's going on. Of course, we understand that not all clients, we may have, more people or more, old fashioned or people that, older in age that not have access to computers or apps and so on and so forth, then we get that. And that's what, we're here for. You can always reach out to Melissa or myself or your ESCO officer, be able to ask questions during the working hours. But, if they would like to use or even give that a try, the app is available to everyone. I'm using two screen, Melissa. What are you seeing? I just want to make sure I'm on the right
We're
slide.
in here logging in.
Okay, perfect. We are. Okay. Just like, when you sign up with your bank, they have, any financial company, you go through the process of, authentication of before you can actually access the bank or the account. Same thing here. But what we suggest that if instead of going through two authentication, you can enter your cell phone number, and what the app will do is to send you a code, and you use that code to authenticate, right? So that's allowed you to access into your private information. Okay. Melissa, feel free to add anything that you think that I may be missing.
So as I mentioned before, until you have an active order with, Chicago Title or any of our sister companies, you can go ahead and download the app, but you have to wait till you're invited, till you have an actual transaction with us. And like I said, once we open up the escrow, we enter in your information, you'll then get the email that you've been invited to our InHere app. And at that point, you can start your login process. I actually had downloaded the app because I wanted to make sure that I could use it before I started talking to you about using it. And I was on the phone with our customer service because I was having some trouble. And one of the things that he had mentioned is, and there's some other slides that will talk about it. There's two different versions. You can get the web app. So if you are more of a desktop person and you want to have this on your desktop, you can set it up on your desktop, or you can set it up on your phone. So again, it's up to you. But when I was doing it on my phone, he recommended to not do the, what was it called? To bypass the multi-factor setup, just because it causes a little bit of a glitch in the system at this moment, and just to move on with the SMS setup.
Just like the text, right?
Yeah.
Okay. As you can see, you're able to track the properties. You have multiple properties. Even if it's from different offices of Chicago Title, you can still track it. As you know, we are under the same umbrella as FNF, which is Fidelity National Title. So if you have a transaction with Fidelity, I believe that you can still track it within the app. Okay. So you'd be able to see, the milestone, the progress, right? It shows where it is, where the buyers had deposit money, and so on. Okay. Of course, our team is always here available for you if you need to make a phone call and ask questions, but this is just what it looks like if you are registered and have access to the app. Okay. We're just going to click through so you see examples, even show where the property is located, and so on. I thought it's pretty cool. And it shows transaction details. And if it's closed escrow, it's going to show that. Another cool thing is that when the transaction is closed, you still have access to all the documents that is uploaded into the app. So when tax season comes and if you need to get, a final statement, a HUD statement, you can actually access it, right, Melissa?
Yes.
Through here. Okay, that's awesome. At your fingertips. Let's see, there's anything else. Any questions so far? Anyone?
I don't see, I've been watching the chat. I don't see anything.
Okay.
Are
It
we allowed
looks,
to talk? Or?
it looks great, Lynn. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
No, it looks great. I mean, it's going to cut down the fun of sending, hundreds of emails back and forth asking, what about this? What about that? But
Right.
this looks great.
So we went through the app version, and here is the looks of the web portal. So same thing, you log in, you go .inhere.com, you sign in with your email and password and go through the verification. And it's the same thing as the app. I think that for those of you, like Melissa mentioned, if you want to use the web portal, rather than looking at your small screen of your phone, you have access to the web portal as well. And it shows your transaction dashboard. Let's see what else. And the reason we do this, just raise awareness of, wire fraud and email fraud, scams, and so on. And encourage everyone to give this a try, because eventually I believe it's going to save you time and headaches and protect.
Well, and not only that is if you get in the habit of using it, once we roll it out to where our consumers can use it too, then it puts us all together in one location. They can message me directly, they can message you directly from the app, and it looks literally just like our emails. And the more you know it, the more I know it. That's why I downloaded the app, is so that, again, when we get to that piece, we'll know how to coach them through it. And they'll be able to, and again, we're not trying to replace the realtors or the escrow people, but make sure that consumers are in the know and that they have access to what we have access to.
Okay. So we have a really good support line. So if you ever have any issues, you can reach out to myself, to Melissa, and also so we can help you with any issues you may have. And we also have the support department that you can reach out to as well.
And he is really great. I talked to him. He's very excited to teach people and talk to people.
Yeah, so all the informations are here. I don't see we have a phone number, but we can also send that out to you.
Yeah, I can get it for you and send it out.
Okay. If you have it, we can share with people right now if you want to take that down, or we can share that with Michael, and he can do a e-blast email to share with everyone that is on the training today.
Okay.
I'm going to charge $5 for the.
Why not?
If you've got it, paste it in the chat now.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. That's pretty much it. I think that we finished half an hour early here, but I also wanted to let everyone know that I know that 2023 started, and we have a lot to look forward to. 2023 is definitely still going to be a little bit of challenging year. However, I have some listings that recently opened, and the market is still hot, you guys, even though interest rate is high, but we have plenty of buyers out there. We had a listing that is in Milpitas, and they had over, I think she said 50 families had gone through over the weekend. Even in the rain, pouring rain, people still look at homes and they actually have an offer coming in tomorrow, or multiple offers coming in tomorrow. So just wanted to let you know that this is the time for you to reaching out. It's a good reminder to reaching out to your past clients. And I would love to sit down with you to review your business plan, to review your farming that you're currently using, to see what's missing, and hopefully that I can provide some added value that you can use, or make some changes to your farming that hopefully result to more listings for you guys. But education is important, as you know. The more confidence, the more knowledge you have, the better for you to win that listing versus somebody else is getting it from you. So you have my contact information. I would hope that you will reach out to me, and I would love to sit down, whether it's face-to-face with you or via Zoom, whatever you feel comfortable. Then we can go over and we can talk about the latest tools and resources that we provide for you free to help you grow your business. So that's what we are here for. Any questions, anyone?
I don't see anything.
To put in the chat, the contact person.
Yeah, I put in the customer service support information in the chat.
Hi, I have a question not related to that, but in
Yeah.
general, the kind of fraud that can happen in real estate. What if a client has out-of-state properties and they obviously are not going to be on a not going to be monitoring on a daily basis. So what are the different types of fraud that can happen and how to avoid them?
What are the different kinds of frauds that are happening?
Yeah, for properties out of state, like where the client may not be fully watching, if there's a title change or whatever. Like, I don't know what are the different ways a fraudster may think of, but just wondering what the.
Unfortunately, here, we are state specific escrow, so we don't do a lot of out of state. I was actually reading on our fraud website, looking for some good scary stories for you guys. It was very much like Lynn was saying, an absentee owner. And this was like in Kansas and somewhere in the Midwest. Same kind of scenario where somebody was potentially trying to sell the property and there was no communication, no email. He was out of the country. The escrow officer actually had looked at the property tax bill. So if it's a vacant land, or if it's like a vacant land, the property tax bill will usually show the mailing address. And so they were able to reach out to the owner, through the mailing address and Google him. And when they finally got a hold of him, he had said, no, I'm not selling my property. And it's been kind of circulating through some of the realtor meetings. Consumers are being asked, what is it called, Lynn? The property watch system.
Property watch system
That watches the properties. It monitors like your credit score. It monitors your credit score, but it actually monitors the county records of your property. So if there's any specific suspicious activity on your property, they will notify you. Of course, there's a fee. Other than that, our title insurance policies do protect people against fraudulent. So if you had somebody that came and sold your home out from underneath you with a fictitious name or forged name, our title policy would protect them. The other types of fraud that we're seeing actually right now is a lot of the payoff demands that are coming in. So when we're paying off a current mortgage, whether you're refinancing or you're selling your home, again, those fraudsters are watching the transaction and watching the emails and the correspondence going back and forth. And there's been a couple different scenarios where an escrow officer will get, say, 2 faxes in one day from a lender. And same payoff figures. It doesn't look like anything's changed, but we're being taught right now to really examine and read everything line by line, because what's happening, again, the fraudsters are sending in another payoff demand and they're altering the wire information. So when we go to wire out, if we depend on that wire instructions that we received, we're could be sending it to a fraudster's account unbeknownst to us. And then of course our clients will call in a week or two saying my loan wasn't paid off. What happened?
Yeah, they're keep trying, because of course they wanted to wait until, one day that you will have your guards down and missed the email, missed the what you're supposed to check before you wire the money. So that's why, of course, our escrow officers are trained, and they wanted to make sure that they do their due diligence to make sure they're not rushing through things, to make sure that they're do all the right things to make sure that we protect you guys, protect the consumers and everyone involved in the transactions.
Got it. And what's the system that is, you said that monitors the properties out of state property? Is it like a specific app or an app or?
No,
service?
it's
Title lock you talking about, or?
yes.
What is that? Sorry, I missed it.
It's called Title Lock.
It's a party. However, if you have a title policy with us, you are protected.
Okay.
Our policy protects you from that.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, so you don't have to pay extra. Any other questions? Michael, is there anything else you want us to cover?
Well, if somebody wanted to jumpstart, so you're doing this individually, jumpstarting people's
Absolutely.
farming, so they would contact you.
Yes. Yeah, feel free to give me a call, text me, email me, and we can set up a time. We can sit down and go over what you're currently doing, what tools that you are using that would make your job more efficient as a realtor. We can talk about many things. We can talk about how to maintain your database, how to grow your database, how to reach out to people that you don't know, how to get more listings, what tools we provide, like Chicago Agent One app that will help you to provide buyer's estimate, seller's net sheet, how to post marketing piece on social media. There's a lot that we can talk about. So I would love that. I would love to sit down with you one-on-one and have a chat with you.
Sounds
Of
great.
course, any questions
Well-
or concerns, we're always available.
So any other training that you guys would like to see more coming up, just let us know, let Michael knows, and then we can put something together.
Sounds marvelous. I think we're gonna throw in the towel now.
All
Thank you,
right.
everyone, for participating. Thank you, Melissa and Lynn, for another great presentation. Have
Thank
a
you,
nice day out
Michael.
there. Stay dry.